Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Get in the Garage,
a music podcast
for music lovers.
We've got a great show planned for you today. Going to hit you with a little bit of the new, a little bit of the old. But first, before we get into it, remember to like and subscribe and share with all your friends. And leave a comment and let us know what you think. We throw a lot of opinions around, and we all have varying opinions. So, yes, Luke.
3 Dog Night.
3 Dog Night. Yeah.
The band we talk about all the time. We were thinking of dog bands last week.
Yes, I know.
We didn't say
he commented
3 Dog Night.
on our own.
Someone who commented.
I did.
Luke did.
Because I was like, oh, the episode dropped. And
if you can think of any artists that have dogs incorporated in their name,
just continue to throw it in the comments.
Just keep it going.
Every week.
Just keep it going. So anyway, yes, let's get this episode kicked off here. Let's get this theme song music popping. And,
hey, Lizzo!
Get into this show. Oh, God. Have you seen that guy?
Oh, yeah. He knows Unk Shine.
It's pretty shocking. All right. Yes, once again, welcome back to the garage in the basement.
Sagittarius myself.
Sagittarius. I don't know, even astrology. As we always do, we're going to open up the episode with a little bit of happening fun music news. It looks like, Luke, you already have your story queued up. Why don't you hit us with a little bit of happening music news right now?
All right.
What is that?
I think one of us got a text in the middle of that, which made it sound even more like it was a telegram. Oh. A 25-foot inflatable Ozzy Osbourne has been installed at San Diego Comic-Con. Ozzy and Todd McFarlane, sorry everybody, will appear at the convention on Friday to sign copies of their new comic book. Wow.
Todd McFarlane, he's a big deal. He created Spawn.
Oh, he's the Spawn guy.
Yep.
Nice.
I wish
I
don't know if you'll be able to see this, but the Ozzy Osbourne looks like it was mashed with a Bigfoot. It is crazy looking.
The Oz man cometh.
Truly.
What do you guys got?
Jeff, you want to hit yours off? I just got to find mine real quick.
Yes, in the world of metal music, recently announced that Pantera has reformed in some semblance to do a tour, and it will be original vocalist Phil Anselmo, original bass player Rex Brown, being joined by guitarist Zakk Wylde, who was a close friend of Dimebag Darrell, who the Pantera guitarist who was murdered in 2003 or 2004, and Charlie Benante, the drummer for Anthrax, will be filling in for original drummer Vinnie Paul, who died 6-7 years ago.
Yeah, it was recently.
So I think it's a great.
That's a
great
cool lineup.
match of people.
I mean, any other guitar player would be like kind of ridiculous. So
Zakk Wylde seems like he could only be the only guy.
Yeah, it's like they were great. That's a great show.
Yeah.
Maybe not call it like the Pantera like something else.
Call it Walk.
Call it something, or something else.
The music of Pantera.
Yeah.
Yes, like do
like
that.
it's a laser light show tribute band.
I think it's always
Cirque du
better.
Soleil
I think it's
Pantera
better when
music.
you do that, because then it just kind of like, you know what I mean? Like when you go see Steely Dan now, you're are both of them together again, or is it just
One guy died 5 years ago.
Oh, I didn't even realize. See.
Yeah.
That's
Rest
my
in
whole
peace.
point.
I never even mentioned that. I did see Steely Dan 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, we didn't get that full concert review.
I'm keeping that close to my heart. I'm not sharing it with the listeners.
But
I don't want to be here for 3 hours talking about it. I agree with you. I also think that metal fans are so like insular, and they don't, they have very strong allegiances. This has to have been an idea that was floated to many, many people before they did it. So that's why I think like this wasn't just like, well, fuck it, we'll just call it Pantera.
Right.
Like I saw Zakk Wylde a few months ago, and he does a song where they drape full 10 by 20 foot pictures of Dimebag Darrell and Vinnie Paul as he plays like a ballad about losing friends or
in this river, maybe. I know that was a big one.
That is it. He plays piano on it.
Yep.
So like, I don't know. And Charlie Benante was also like close friends with those guys. And
Yo, that's a pretty good song. I remember that song.
In this river,
that just came back in my head.
I don't know what the words are. Sorry.
So
I'm butchering it.
Pretty cool. And Pantera, me personally, it's kind of like the kind of music that it like physically hurts my ears because of how it's EQ'd and mixed.
Oh,
because
yeah,
it's
'cause it's
so
all-
brutally like
It's like that like
Everything.
early 90s
Yeah.
metal, so it's coming fresh off of like the 80s thing. Super, scooped
Scooped
mids, solid state amps.
It's like sizzle. It's
Yeah.
the
Well,
whole time.
Pantera too were like a hair band too. Well, like not like
Pre,
a hair.
right.
Yeah, but they were. No,
were.
they were.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
in the
so-
beginning, yeah.
Pretty
So,
interesting.
But I think it's it's cool, and those guys, I mean, they're not old. They're all, I would say, late 50s because they're
Yeah.
all probably born early 60s.
Right.
So,
Right.
they'll still rip it, and
What's
Yeah,
the
man.
singer's other band?
Down.
Down.
Super
one.
Joint
Super
Ritual.
Joint.
I saw
Ritual, yeah.
Super Joint at Ozfest when I went to Ozfest when I
Did
was
you?
a very young boy.
Yeah.
Hank 3 on guitar.
Oh,
Correct.
okay, right, yeah. Phil Anselmo, he has, some things about him in his past, things that he's done and all that stuff, but
Hopefully this tour is a redeemable thing.
yeah, man,
Yeah.
yeah.
Michael,
So,
what do you have for
well,
music news?
to piggyback off of some heavy metal news, recently there was a video that was released of Iron Maiden lead singer Bruce
You
Dickinson.
took my music news.
Did I?
Yeah.
Oh, shoot. Well, let's talk about it. I have another thing too.
You
So,
I have a
Greek.
couple more too.
well, I mean, yeah, was it? It was, yeah, because it was in Greece. That's
Yeah,
right.
well, he calls the audience member. Okay, so he's like singing the intro to was it Run to the Hills?
Run to the Hills, yeah.
And this guy like lights a flare and he's like, "I'm trying to sing this song." He's like, "You Greek," and then he says, "See you next Tuesday."
Yeah.
And it's so hilarious. He's like, "I'm gonna sing anyway," and then he just starts singing anyway, and the guy just is a
I
flare.
mean, to be fair, though.
That's a term of
Endearment.
endearment in Europe.
Yeah.
Yes.
But it was just really funny to watch because, yeah, you just see, and he's like, the night was blind. He's doing the thing, and then all of a sudden the flare goes off, and he's like, I told you no flares, and he's just like yells.
It was in my rider, no flares.
Yeah, I said no flares. I think there's 2 people with flares.
It's
If
ridiculous.
I saw it and I
It's
remember
ridiculous.
it correctly. All right,
I'd be
well,
so frightened if someone lit off a fucking flare next to me at a concert. I'd be like,
Yeah.
I'm like, I've watched that Woodstock '99 talk too many times.
yeah, right.
All right.
Well, since that was kind of your thing, I have another thing that I was going to talk about real quick.
Bring it on.
There was a beef that was squashed between the lead singer of Disturbed and the lead singer of The Darkness.
Oh, they squashed their beef.
They squashed their beef.
I saw they had beef earlier in the
They
week.
did the beef. The beef's been squashed. It's been ground, if you want to call it that.
Well,
David
he-
Dryman and
And
Taylor Hawkins.
Taylor Hall. Oh, that's his name.
That's his name, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Taylor
from
Hawkins.
the dark.
From The Darkness. Yeah, apparently
He
they,
believes in
they,
a thing called love.
Yeah, I mean, so do I. They were touring, I guess, and many years back. It was like 2008, maybe, or something like that. The
I think
Darkness,
before that.
3, maybe. Maybe I'm confusing.
Yeah.
Anyway, point being, they were on tour together, and I guess the Ravenous Disturbed fans, one of them threw some already chewed chewing gum up onto the stage, and it landed in his mouth.
That's so rock and roll. You
To
just chew
say-
that shit and blow a bubble.
Blow a bubble. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, what can you do? And to be fair, he did release a statement, and he was like, well, I kind of had to hand it to the guy. He threw a piece of chewed gum up on the stage, and it landed in my mouth.
Also, that's
But-
the asshole fans of a band.
Yeah, right. It's not the band itself,
Yeah.
But to say that it left a bad taste in his mouth might be an understatement, because this lasted for about 20 years, this feud, and it finally was squashed. But I will say, much to the chagrin of Disturbed, Brent Hines of Mastodon at the same time recently released a thing talking about how terrible it was to tour with Disturbed, and he said something, and if you read the trigger warning, he uses some pretty foul language that I would probably not deem acceptable in this current day and age. However, he was just like, yeah, you're just playing to Disturbed fans. Like, he says it like he's like, well, this is your audience, so obviously it's gonna suck. And it's like, to each their own. I like the first 2 Disturbed albums. I'll just throw it out there. I was down with The Sickness, but
I was more of a Trapped guy.
Oh yeah, you got down with the Trap.
They've been canceled too.
Oh,
they?
what?
Trap's been canceled.
Sorry, guys. I'm not
Yeah,
really a Trapped guy.
that's
I
like
just
2
literally like
years
that
ago.
one.
You were just,
single.
well, you were just, yeah, and you were like,
I think
more
they
so
were.
making a joke.
The lead guy was like very anti-COVID information and all that
Oh,
stuff.
jeez.
Oh Jesus!
Back to
Well,
the Disturbed thing. If I must say, the reason why it kind of got circulating in the music world this past week is because Taylor Hawkins' YouTube series podcast of some form is actually really worth checking out. It's called Taylor Hawkins Rides Again. He does all these. They're mostly like 15-minute videos of him watching other things and commenting on them.
Oh, cool.
So he brought up that story offhandedly and very Britishly was like, and and it's just how it goes, mate. Like life on the road.
Well,
it is what it is.
Yeah, rock and roll.
I told him off afterwards,
Yeah,
like the fan.
yeah.
yeah. So interesting. So
Being on my second Kiss book, by the way, that I'm reading at the moment.
Okay.
Every band that had to open for them was just like, come on, guys.
Oh,
because their fans were terrible.
you're playing to the troops.
And vice versa, when they opened for everybody, they were like, you can't set off bombs before we go off.
Yeah.
It was a
can't.
21 gun salute.
You can't set off the bombs. Aerosmith's like, no bombs. And they're like,
Sorry,
light the bombs.
it was a 21 love gun salute.
Thank you. Thank you. They were made for loving you.
Do you have more? I have a couple more.
let's hit it.
I got one more.
okay.
Roger Waters
I
over the
saw
weekend was very mad that they did not review his concert. I believe it was in Toronto, and if it wasn't, it was at least in Canada. So he was pressing this newspaper guy that was like, "Why didn't you cover my concert? Why didn't you cover my concert?" And he's just like, "The Weeknd was playing," and he's like,
Who cares?
"Yes," and he said, Roger Waters,
Quote.
And by the way, with all due respect to The Weeknd or Drake or any of them, I am far, far, far more important than any of them will ever be. However many billions of streams they got, their stuff is going to be here. That is fundamentally important to all of our lives. And it's just like, I don't understand why he thinks like his show is like, I get his show is highly political, it's all that good stuff. Personally, I don't feel like getting yelled at for an hour and a half when I go see a concert. But that's just my bread and butter.
Yeah.
And also, it's just like different strokes for different folks, guy. Like, this stuff has been happening the whole time. There's been like other genres of music other than yours, like funk and soul and jazz and R&B, and they're all great. And
You know who was huge during all the years Pink Floyd was huge? ABBA.
yeah,
All right, and it's couldn't be any more different than your music, and it's reached
and
millions
all
of
those
people.
like, guys then were like, all this pop music is just garbage. What we're doing with these synthesizers is great. And it's just
Hey
like,
mate, why didn't you review my concert? Oh well, it's not 1979.
yeah, one, nobody
I don't
reviews
know.
concerts anymore, so like, duh.
Or
Like,
they
that-
do, but like, who gives a fuck? It's a
fucked.
2-paragraph thing in
And
the
if it's a
Guardian or
but if
whatever.
it's like-
whatever.
that's what I'm
This
saying.
is
If
what
it's
it is. It's
yeah.
payola. It's like
whatever.
I paid Rolling Stone to do a thing about my concert.
Just
Like
like,
we
I'll
all
go
know what
check
it
it out.
is. You know what I mean?
But even still, I mean, like the only time if
a
I've looked up, okay, so Kiss came around, right? Like, I mean, most of the publications that are publishing, yes, exactly. Most of the publications that are publishing, like a concert review, if there is one, it's like a local newspaper. It's not like it's this giant. You know what I'm trying to say? It's like, who is Rolling Stone really doing a concert?
No, but he was like
review?
yelling at like a.
It's like they played in Cincinnati, and the Cincinnati Informer or whatever
but
fucking
he
did
was,
a quick thing. You know,
he was yelling at like a local newspaper guy, but at the same point, it's
this
just.
guy's just like, I just write for the paper, man.
That's exactly what he was saying, and I'm just like, it's all fair to like, I'm a big Pink Floyd fan, but at the same time, you got to champion other artists, because like, I said this in my tweet the other day about this, my Instagram story. How can you not enjoy my art when you don't enjoy art? It's like you're not. You know what I mean? It's the how can you eat your
Well,
meat
he's
when
just-
you haven't had any pudding?
It's this.
yeah,
Yeah, take your own advice, Roger Waters. Jesus.
yeah. So move on. You know,
yeah.
what's your music news? We'll wrap this up.
So recently, a music video was released. The first music video ever directed by Steven Spielberg,
Yo, I saw that.
which is for the song Cannibal, which is the first single off of Marcus Mumford's upcoming solo album.
Oh.
And
not
Steven
see that.
Spielberg shot this black and white video using just an iPhone. And his wife, Kate Capshaw, who is an actress, she was Willie in Temple of Doom, Indiana Jones.
Okay.
She acted as the dolly
I was
because
hoping you were going to say Free Willy.
because Steven Spielberg sat there. He directed this on an iPhone, and his wife like rolled back and forth his rolling chair he was on, and it's cool because it looks like a steady cam shot the whole
Yeah.
time. And then Marcus Mumford's wife, what is her name? I never fucking remember it.
I don't know.
She's an actress.
Miss
Carrie Mulligan.
Carrie Mulligan.
She did like costumes. I mean, he's wearing an outfit, so whatever that means.
Wardrobe.
Wardrobe and sound, so maybe like the playback sound. But it's cool because like you can watch the behind the scenes of like just these two
Yeah.
big time couples like making a music video for a song. It's cool. It's black and white. It's simple. It's a good song. It's
Nice.
if you like Mumford and Sons, you know. Did it blow my mind? No. Was it decent. Sure.
Was it cool?
Yeah.
Steven Spielberg directed it? Yeah, cool.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
no like anything special, but
It's
it's
just
just like a
interesting.
cool thing.
It's a fun- yeah, right,
It's just a
right.
fun, weird thing.
Yeah.
His first music video, he's like 78 years old or something.
I'm surprised. That's surprising
It's
to me
like
that
Grandpa.
he hasn't done
It's like
one.
Grandpa shot a music video with his iPhone.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
I
like,
know.
Okay,
Yeah.
Grandpa.
He doesn't know how to tweet, but he can
Yeah.
shoot a music video on an iPhone.
You got
Right
anything
on.
else of note?
So I
before
just
we-
thought
That
was
about that.
interesting.
Well, no, that wraps it up for me. Are you guys good with the music news?
yeah,
Yeah.
let's
All
check
right.
our heads.
Let's check our heads. Jeffrey, why don't you
lead us off, please?
lead us off, man? Usher into.
Okay, so this upcoming weekend, at the time of this recording, there is a new vinyl reissue of the Beastie Boys' third album. It's called Check Your Head. It's gonna be like a 4-disc box set, like huge thing that's coming out. So cop it if you can. It's gonna be like $140, but
Maybe it's all on Spotify though, so check it out. there.
hopefully it will be. It
is.
Oh, it is.
The deluxe on
It's
there.
already
that's,
there?
That's what that is. It's just
Yeah.
a re-release of the vinyl. So I looked it up. It's a
Oh.
re-release of that vinyl set.
cool. So I've already been listening to it
Yes, it's
with all the extra bonus tracks. So
Yes.
Thanks, Spotify.
So check out the version. The only version on
Thanks,
Spotify
not
is the same
Amazon.
thing.
So this album is very cool. It is a departure from their like boom bap rap stuff. Their first album, License to Ill, was very much like Run DMC for white guys. Their second album, Paul's Boutique, was like tons of samples and a sound collage, but still very hip hop. And then the third album, they actually like went more to their roots because they started as like kind of a punky hip hop group, and the three guys are playing actual instruments on this whole album. This whole album features Ad Rock on guitar, MCA on bass, and Mike D on drums, along with a collaborator named Money Mark, who plays keyboards and all sorts of stuff on top of it. Mario Caldada Jr. is the producer, who also plays percussion and stuff like that. So it very much sounds like a group of guys hanging out in their house or apartment, wherever, and just like making music that they enjoy. And it's very all over the place stylistically. Everything from kind of like funk soundtracks, very much like Superfly we talked about last week. It's kind of that kind of flavor. There's some Latin feel stuff. There is some hip hop, but like with rock guitars. And there's a few songs that don't have lyrics
There's,
or vocals,
There's a fine, like, kind of, probably not the first, but like definitely the first like big album, major label that's like chocolate and peanut butter rap rock. Like this is pretty rap rocky for that time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It sounds like, like that's like one of the big things about this record. And you've heard so many of those things now that again, later in the decade it turns so sour on it. But like for me, looking back on it, I'm like, I still love this kind of. I believe Rage Against the Machine's self-titled came out in 1992 as well. So for me, like this is like, it's not as heavy as Rage Against the Machine, but it's like it's the chill version of that.
Groovy,
It's the-
funky.
It's like cool.
Right.
It's cooler. It's laid
Right.
back. It's got like it definitely has like a Be Here Now vibe. Like to a lot of the stuff.
Yeah,
on
they
it.
were big into their spirituality phase at this time, and not phase, but like embracing that.
Yeah,
and-
like being like, instead of like being the party guys, like it's the fourth single, but Gratitude,
Yeah.
and even the first song, Jimmy James, the Hendrix tribute, which I also, if we're talking like the deluxe box set, please check out the original version of this, because it becomes way more clear what they were doing, because I didn't get it at first. The song's called Jimmy James. What they're doing is they're scratching up Hendrix samples, and he's shredding like the guitar, and it's like a guitar solo. The original version I think works much better, and it's so awesome. It's like you're like, oh shit, because it like comes in with like the Foxy Lady or the dum dum down, like, and it just scratches up the guitar solo. It really brings like on a multiple levels of like rap rock. It's not just like rap, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or even
Yeah,
Rage Against the
it's-
Machine. It's much more textured with a lot of more influence and flavor.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
full disclosure, I'm not. I would consider myself the least Beastie Boys fan in the room, probably. I mean, I'm not sure to what extent you guys are Beastie Boys fans, but I've never really been a big Beastie Boys fan. Maybe it was just because like what kind of hip hop I listened to like in the formative years of my enjoyment and introduction to hip hop. The boom bap thing, I'm not a huge fan of. But I really enjoyed this record, and again, not being really well versed in Beastie Boys, and then listening to this album, and then realizing the fact that this is the third album after License to Ill and Paul's Boutique, it was an interesting listen because I don't think I had ever really listened to this record before, and I really enjoyed it. I was texting with Luke about it, and I was like, I really dig this album, and I like the instrumentals. I like the fact that they played some of the instruments. There's some sampling, but it's kind of sparse, or
they sample themselves.
Or they
playing.
sample themselves.
That's most
or,
of it, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And like and there's like some reggae vibes in there. There's different flavors for different types of songs and stuff. Again, being a novice and just entering to this record, not listening to it really before, I enjoyed it, man. I liked it.
Dude, the Biz versus the Nude.
Oh yeah.
It's like a
the
40-second.
It's Bismarcky over the Ted Nugent sample.
Beastie Boys.
Yeah. That was great. I was listening to that in earbuds and just kind of like going about my business, and then that came on. I was like, "Wait, what the fuck is going on?" Like I had to stop for a minute. I'm like, "What is going on right now?"
I love that like the Beastie Boys always hang out with Biz Markie and like make him like a prominent feature on like every record because it's
Biz,
just like
man.
nobody beats the Biz, man.
He's got what they need.
And as far as like singles, this So What You Want was single. Pass the Mic, I think, was a single.
Yeah, Pass the Mic is
Jimmy James, I think, was a single.
Pass the Mic is the first single. So What You Want is the second. Jimmy James is the third, and Gratitude will be the fourth. Professor Booty was released last.
That's such a great song.
But like
Professor Booty.
So What You Want though is like such a, like a monster, just like
it's a killer.
monster single. Pass the Mic, I think is maybe less so, but still crazy. I wanted to kind of talk about Gratitude a little bit because it's very much them playing their instruments, not a lot of rapping, different vocal stylings, and I think it's a great switch up. A lot of reviewers don't like this record. They liked it at the time a lot, kind of, but they were still lukewarm on it, and now even further now, more people don't like it because I found that fascinating. I think I like what I noted earlier. It's the and everybody notes it. Like if you look up like the Pitchfork release, whatever, the review, the souring of rap rock in the late '90s, for a lot of people, makes this album like muddied for them, and they don't know where it stands for them because they don't know where they stand with rap rock as a genre of music. This for me is the birth of it, and they hit it and quit it. They did not really like. They did this again, but they didn't like drive that rap rock home into a more like machoed or like what I'm saying?
It stays in this vibe for the next two albums after this.
Chill, and it's
chill,
not
laid back, funky, groovy.
And then they bring in like more groove, more hip. You know what I mean? Like that, those elements come back in. But I really love this record, and noted too that Gratitude was covered by Rollins Band, who opened up for them on this tour, which is it shows you that song worked in that context as well. But on the record, it's really chill. I love this record. I think it's cool.
Yeah. Did we get a release date for when this is
was
supposed to drop?
30 years ago. This would have been like April or May.
This is April 21st, 1992.
But I'm saying the actual box set itself, which is being
Friday.
released, is this upcoming Friday. So that's July.
That's going to be a release date.
22, I think.
22nd.
Yes.
Yep, July 22nd. Okay, cool.
So yeah, I
right
really
on, check it out.
love
Check
this
ahead.
album. It's all the great things about the Beastie Boys, but it's also all the great things about like '90s rock and all the mixing of the genres that happened at that time.
And if you're like, I don't like the Beastie Boys because I don't like the check out this record.
Yeah,
because it does that for like 20% of the record.
But it's like enough. That's what I think I liked about it. Was just like I got my fill. It wasn't an entire album, and
got your fill. You were
rest,
chilly chill.
Yeah. But I was able to kind of kick back, relax, and just kind of like fully enjoy the album, man. I don't love the shouty sort of delivery of the lyrics that they do. So that's why I enjoyed this record because it's minimal.
On this too, they they almost mock it in themselves.
Right.
And noted to this week, we'd be remiss if we did not note that trending around on Twitter was somebody's post that was like every Beastie Boys lyric is like scribbled eggs fried in a pan, like, and then people kept like doing like Beastie Boys style lyrics like that, like that made no sense.
Yeah.
So check that out. Like on Twitter this week, everybody went crazy making their own Beastie Boys lyrics, which I thought was very timely for
Nice.
our podcast. So
Right on. So check it out and let us know what you think too. Do you like this Beastie Boys album?
Check it out.
All right, shall we take a quick break and then we'll come back and we'll do something new.
2 and 2.
2 and 2. We'll be right back.
Hey Lizzo.
Hey, Lizzo. All right, everybody, welcome back to Get in the Garage.
We're the music podcast.
For music lovers.
We have some new music news for you. New music album release, I should say, not new music news.
It's about damn time.
It's about Dan time?
Yeah, it's the single from the
Damn
album.
time.
It's about damn time.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. I thought you said Dan time. I thought you were referencing this Steely Dan for a minute.
It's always Dan time.
Yeah.
In my world.
Yes, Luke, why don't you lead us off and tell us what let us know what we're talking about.
We're going to be
Jesus, I can't
talking
talk.
about Lizzo's new album, Special, which just came out. We're going to talk about it, get into it. What did you guys think?
Loved it.
I really like this album too. I think it's a great pop record. It's one of my favorite pop records we've listened to so far this year. I think it's right up there with that Harry Styles release. It's not so much my personal flavor, but this is a great record, and it's definitely one for like bumping it with the girls.
Yeah,
So.
I think so too. I think that because we've been talking about maybe we've been talking about new album releases and kind of how, there's a lot of artists who are coming out and, like how Drake kind of did that sort of like dance hall music kind of thing. I think that this sort of plays into like some similar things. I think it's just done really, really well.
See,
I enjoyed it way more
for
than the
me,
Drake
this
record.
hits like the 80s, all the 80s notes that Harry Styles was like rocking, like the Prince vibes and all that. Like this hits like the 1980s vibes for me, especially like all the sampling in it.
Yeah.
Some stats. 12 songs, 35 minutes.
Oh, I blinked and it was over. I was like, this is
Every
perfect.
song was 2.5 to 3.5 minutes long.
This is a perfect length album that is 12 songs. None of them run longer than they should. They're all over before you know it, and they're beautiful, great.
Yep. And I like Lizzo the most when she is at her like 2022 positive female spin on Rick James music, basically.
Yep.
Which is
There it
like
is.
like 4 or 5 of these songs. I love Juice, one of the big singles from her last album, Because I Love You. I've been on Lizzo not forever. She's been putting out music since 2013 with some like independent release stuff. But I started listening to her in late 2016 when her Coconut Oil EP came out, which had a song on it called Good as Hell, which was a minor hit, but like it came across on the recommended algorithm, Spotify stuff, and I was like, who the fuck is this? I love this song. So anyway, I've enjoyed her since then. If you haven't seen videos, like she's a big presence. She's a big pop star. She's kind of everywhere, name, face, recognition, social media. But like, if you haven't seen videos of her actually performing her music, like that is the first thing to check out. Look up any time she has performed live with like her troupe of like 6 girl dancers, and they're all busting a move and singing their heart out to all this like disco pop stuff. And there are some like more emotionally vulnerable ballady type things on this album that I think work really well too. So they're in there to offset the like happy, good times, carefree, like bitch it's my world type of vibe. But yeah, I really enjoyed it, and I've been waiting for this thing to come out because she's everywhere.
We've been talking about it for
Yeah,
the
yeah,
last couple months.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I love her, and I'm a vocalist guy, and like I love how she sings. Like it's just an amped up version of how she speaks.
Yeah.
Like 10 seconds into a song, you know it's her song.
Right.
You never have to be like, what generic pop person is this song?
Yep.
So
To your Rick James point earlier, the track "Everybody's Gay" on here samples "Give It to Me, Baby" by Rick James. The samples are "Cool in the Gang," "Summer Madness," "Girls" by the Beastie Boys on the track "Girls." All the samples are like flavored like that. They're so great.
Some Lauryn Hill sample.
Oh, yeah, the what is that called?
Interpolation. Yep.
That's what that's called. Where she sings what's that song? That thing, right?
Yep.
Yep,
Doo-wop.
yep.
Yep.
So
Coldplay sample.
yeah, the Coldplay sample on the last track, and that was a great thing you said about like how the slower, the more ballady songs were great. That one's not like so much a ballad, but for me it worked like more of like emotional, like love song. Like, and she said she wrote it while she was listening to that Coldplay song, Yellow, right?
Yeah.
And she wrote the song to it, and I love that the sample is mixed in with how she was feeling when she heard the song. For me, that worked for me the most on this record because it let me know who Lizzo was as a person, because she was like falling in love with somebody by listening to that song. And for me, that let me know like definitely who she was and like opened up. I hope on her next album, like I get a little bit more of that. But like for me, is if I have like one thing to say about this record that is like,
criticism or
criticism would be like, I want to know a little bit more about like Lizzo, or like, just more like personal touches to stuff, because like a lot of this is like we're out there, like you said, kind of music, but a little more personal touch, where you said like I believe Naked was the other ballad on this, right?
Yep. Yeah.
That again worked for me really, really well, in the more where you get to know her on kind of another level. But I really like the song "Girls" on here, where it's like she's like talking about like getting in a bar fight with like her girls, and it respins the misogynistic Beastie Boys lyric on its head. So all of that like shit in there, I was like, that's well done. I really like that whole point on that. So this is a great party record. This is a great summer record.
Yeah, I thought that too. This is a fantastic summer record. This is definitely like one of those, sounds of the summer kind of
About
kind
Damn
of
Time
albums.
is such a kicking single.
Even the intro, like the opening track, the sign where she's like, like
I think the album starts with like "Motherfuckers, I'm back."
yeah,
It's like
and
the first line
love
of the whole
that.
album.
I love that. I thought as an opening, she's like, I've been been
Making
home
smoothies.
since 2020 or something like that. And it's like, fuck yeah, man, this is great. Like she's announcing her own arrival, and she's like, I'm back. This is it. I'm gonna own this moment. And it's and say, like we said earlier, I mean that runtime, that 35-minute and 12-second runtime and stuff too. I mean, all killer, no filler. I mean this record just hit. Some nice ballady, more vulnerable stuff, and then like wraps it up real nice. Like Luke said, no song is too long. Everything is just like.
I also like how she kind of like wrote a song for everybody, like specials on here, which is like for people, it's for a song for everybody, like you're special. I also like, the everybody's gay. Like there's a kind of like a great like anthem for kind of like every kind of person on here.
Yeah.
So that's Lizzo in a nutshell. It's just like being positive about who you are, and this record is really brings that point home. So
yeah, and I think the idea of like being positive who you are, but understanding that like there are moments of doubt and there's moments of sort of like insecurity and stuff like that. So it works. I think it works.
Great collaborators on this record as well. Someone she's worked with a bunch in the past handful of years. Ricky Reed is a producer on most of the songs. Pop super producer Max Martin, who has worked with everybody for the last 25 years, from Backstreet Boys, Britney Spears, beyond Katy Perry, beyond. He's on a couple of songs as production work. Mark Ronson produced the 7th track, which is Break Up Twice, which samples the Lauryn Hill thing, has the DAP tones play instruments on it. Crazy technical drummer Thomas Pridgeon is on a couple tracks, who's bringing that like funkadelic, just like groove drums thing. And I like the fact that she has a song on this called, what's it called? Why Do You Love Me? What is that called?
Oh yeah, I think I know what you're talking about. Hold on.
If You Love Me, which is kind of mid tempo-y, not ballad, but in that realm. And her previous album was called 'Cause I Love You, so it's kind of like a cool tie back to that. And another anthem, which is like, I'm always waiting for someone to make this kind of song, but think about clubs. Every club has someone there celebrating their birthday, and she made a song called Birthday Girl, which is going to be played, if she's lucky, for the rest of fucking time.
Yeah,
And
right.
she'll make so much money, and it'll be everywhere.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, because that's gonna be, if you think about
it's
that,
actually a cool song. It's not like a cornball piece of shit song. Like it's actually it's a fun song, and it's like, goddamn, a pop person putting out a song about birthdays is like
brilliant.
enjoy that cash flow.
Yeah.
Up there with the Beatles and Stevie Wonder.
yeah,
Yeah.
Please, I hope it's
And
successful.
Mariah Carey. For I'm saying like in terms of
Jesus' birthday?
Jesus' birthday. Yeah. Happy birthday, Jesus!
What was
Sorry,
the
your
Mariah
party
Carey
sucks.
song you were talking
All I
about?
Want for Christmas Is You, though. It's another one of those things where it's just kind of like,
It's
here's a
everywhere.
song that
Oh,
is
I get
attributed
you, I
to a
get
certain holiday or a certain
It's not a
occasion that
birthday
will
song, get out of
forever.
here.
I mean, it is Jesus' birthday, but
Rolling Stone
He
said
is the
this.
reason for the season.
Yes,
Rolling
indeed.
Stone said this was the best pop album since Lemonade. Disagree or agree? It was in the review,
Oh.
and I thought it was harsh words. I'm
Best pop album
since
Lemonade.
Lemonade.
Or, like,
Lemonade
most-
was
most, like-
2016. No,
or
Was that-
something like that.
it was like the
the
most like emotionally or like the most like that kind of pop album since Lemonade. What do you think about that? Because I was like I'm not really like versed in Lemonade, but I'm like I probably don't think
The
that's
last pop album that
2016, yeah.
the last pop album I really enjoyed. I didn't enjoy as much as this, and that was I actually really like that Lil Nas X album from last year.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It gets
Yeah.
dark for the last like 5 tracks, but that's another album where it's like I think it's 15 songs, but nothing's longer than 3.5 minutes, and it's like hooks, memorable.
Yeah, that's where I'm like I think other things have come out that have like made you know what I mean.
But also like that's one I could
Okay.
name, and the Dua Lipa album. Whatever. What's that one called?
Yeah.
She's driving a car on the original version, and then like the Moonlight edition, she's like in a sequin bodysuit. That one where she's
Future
right.
Nostalgia.
Future Nostalgia, which came out maybe 2019. That album.
2020.
That album is a monster.
Re-release.
I love
That's the re-release.
that album is,
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So
and that did have 2 or 3 hits. It's bloated though. It's like even the original version is like 15 tracks, and it's
Yeah.
But that's like a go-to like gym and shit for me.
So what do you guys think?
What
Is
the-
it
yeah.
is it Lemonade comparable to this Lizzo album? I don't know.
Unpopular opinion too.
So
Lemonade is like my 3rd most favorite Beyonce album.
ooh, okay.
Really?
So
I haven't. Full disclosure, I have not listened to Lemonade.
I haven't listened to it in full. Let's
Yeah, maybe the hits. off
go
of it or
around
something.
here
Yeah.
and let's give our Pitchfork review. By the way, Pitchfork didn't even review this record. Thumbs down.
Come on, Pitchfork.
We're getting our pitchforks out for you.
Ooh,
Come
yeah,
on,
you know why?
Pitchfork.
They're
What are you
too-
doing?
they're
Because
too-
they hate women, they hate black people,
They're too snobby.
they hate gay people.
Do they?
No, I'm
Pitchfork?
I'm just saying shit.
Pitchfork.
Either way, though, get your music news from us. Get in the garage.
Yeah.
We're coming for
okay,
you.
so
Yeah.
I never go full Pitchfork. I always stick to half points. But for me, this is a 9. Like,
Yeah.
and this is a 9 with potential to be a 9.5 because I loved this.
Yeah. I'll say 8 for me. I think it's a decent record. I don't think it's a bad album. It's not necessarily like in my wheelhouse of like music that I would listen to regularly, but I think like for what it is, it's a hard-hitting dance album. For what it's trying to do, it's effective, and the message behind everything, which body positivity, and there's a bit of vulnerability in there, and all that stuff. I'll give Lizzo a solid 8. Also on the basis that she's an incredible flautist as well. So she plays a mean flute.
Yo.
Shout out to the Tiny Desk concert. Mean flute solo.
She also does it on SNL as well.
Does she?
Yeah, check it out.
Good
Yes.
stuff.
Incredible flautist.
Yeah.
7.9. 7.9's my go-to. I don't want to give it. I don't want to give it 8.
7.9.
If she gave me a little bit more lyrically, I'd go a little more. But
Yeah.
that's mine.
Understandable.
70 more. 7.9.
7-9.
Understandable.
Right on. Well, there you have it. Let
Check
us know
it
what you
out.
think. Do you like it? Do you not like it? Leave a comment below and let us know. All right, so shall we carry on to our last and final segment here? This
We
is going
shall.
to be Luke's vinyl record corner. The last time we did something like this, Luke talked a little bit about, picking out vinyl records and stuff, and we just figured, Luke just bought a stack of records, so let's go through what Luke bought and talk a little bit about
Let's
it.
go through what Luke bought. Let's go.
Let's
So,
check it out. Let's see what do we have.
guys, I am a thrifty guy. I just dropped a piece of this record out here. And I always am looking for my clearance things. So I was at Target, and the brand new Arcade Fire release was a very reasonable $13.
Really?
What?
See, that's why I bought it.
He's always finding these amazing deals. I
Thi-
go in there.
This
it's
came
like,
out like 2
2
months,
months ago.
Yeah.
And it was already on clearance. So it was a
And
record.
that's 50% off because
This was like-
these come out. They're $28.
This was like $35
Damn.
originally.
Yeah,
and
right,
I was like,
right.
because that's why I didn't buy it at first when it came out, and I kind of skipped over it. And I didn't really listen to it. It's a pretty cool record. It's not my favorite Arcade Fire. I'm more like a keep the car running dude, but I liked it. I think better than Reflector, and it was a cool record. So it had some anthemic songs, and I definitely enjoyed. I'm a weekly SNL watcher, so I also saw their performance on SNL, and I enjoyed it, and that's pretty much why I bought it. Was based on their SNL performance.
Last album with Will Butler as part of the band. The frontman's brother, Win Butler is the frontman. His brother announced, I believe right before this came out, that he was not going to be continuing with the band.
Really?
But just to pursue other life stuff. He's been in that band for fucking 12 years or something.
Yeah. Are they UK? They're UK band, right?
Canadian.
Yeah.
Canadian.
Yes,
Oh.
I was like, no, they're from North America. but
Canadian,
like,
and I believe probably a couple of guys are also American.
I don't
as
know
well.
why I thought they were English.
So
Okay.
yeah, and this record was pretty cool because it has weird
Yeah, there's like
it's
a
a-
whole book here too.
Yeah, it's a booklet. Excuse me here. This is a fun sticker. So it was a cool record. I wasn't so much into the telling me to turn off the internet thing. We're kind of 10 years too late. But what are you gonna do? So
10 years too late.
I mean. So it
Yeah.
has that message in it, but it wasn't a bad listen. It was a pretty cool. Check it out. So that was
What's it called?
in the clearance bin. It's called We quotes. And to throw something up here, I got something completely different. If you're in the Connecticut area, if you are in Putnam, River Bottom Records in Putnam is a great record store, and
That's in the Wharf building, correct?
the Montgomery Ward building.
The Montgomery Ward. That's what it is. Ward, not Wharf.
Wharf is like a
Star
Isn't that
Trek.
like a nautical theme? I don't know.
So I have a garage rock classic here. This is the Music Machine. There's great. The album's called "Turn On," the Music Machine. Their famous single "Talk Talk" on here. It's a garage rock classic. This record, I've been really wanting for a long time, and it's been sitting in there for years, and it's just no one's bought it. And I've been
So you
wanting
finally
it.
bit the bullet.
I finally bit the bullet, and I finally bought it. It's a kind of a rarer record, but it's definitely, if you love garage rock, and what I mean is 1960s harder edged fuzz guitar.
Yep.
It's like the proto punk movement.
MC5, stuff like that.
Yes, this is before that, and it's just it's totally influenced all that Detroit scene later.
Trogs.
Yeah, check out that single "Talk Talk" is so heavy for its time and aggressive. 1965, this came out, I believe. And it has also great covers of garage rock classics of "Hey Joe," "96 Tears" by Question Mark and the Mysterians, "CC Rider" that Elvis would later do that Michael loves. And it also has a wonderful Beatles cover of "Taxman" that is
cool.
bad good.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
We'll have to give it a spin after.
It's so bad good. It's one of my favorite Beatles covers. So check it out. It's got some great original songs that are really actually more on the punk side, and it's been in my want list for a long time. So the Music Machine in Turn On.
Neil Young was in this band?
Dude, why do all the members look like different versions of Neil Young throughout the years? Look at that guy playing guitar in the back. He looks like Neil Young playing guitar.
Oh yeah.
Neil Young?
Neil Young.
Yep.
And it's middle-aged Neil, young Neil, old Neil.
Okay, so this one, guys, this is, I have to read the cover here. This is Definitely What by Brian Auger and the Trinity. Brian Auger, the Trinity. Definitely What. So this was a weird album purchase of mine, and it's a keyboard-centric trio, relatively proggy. I really enjoyed this release. It's definitely strange and 60s. Day in the Life is the first track on it, right? I believe the Beatles song. Yep. And they vamp on A Day in the Life for way too long. It's proggy madness. It's keyboard crazy.
Can we get a shot of the back there? I don't know. Were those dwarves?
This came out in
I thought those were mole
1968.
people.
Mole people? I don't know. They looks like something out of like a Tolkien book, though.
This would never get a record contract now, but back in the day, people were just like, "What do you guys do?" Yeah,
Luke,
make
why
an
don't you
album.
have this haircut?
So bad.
Come
Show the
on.
camera.
That's so good. That's so good.
It's like Dutch boy meets commune living.
Dutch boy meets commune living.
yeah, Pennsylvania Dutch.
So yeah, check that out. It's really psychedelic, really like early prog, like 1968.
Yeah.
That guy actually plays keyboards with like the Stones and like everybody else important in the 60s.
way.
So Brian Auger, check out his Discogs page for all that great release info. This one, this group I know will really enjoy here, and this is Kool and the Gang, Spirit of the Boogie. This is one of those earlier Kool and the Gang releases before they were big, like kind of like disco 80s stars. This is after Hollywood Swingin', but this came out in 1975. It is a pretty much, funky, jammy, Latin-y, kind of release, and it also has a play on Jungle Boogie called Jungle Jazz on here,
Oh,
which
cool.
is just like a soloed over version of Jungle Boogie.
Because that was their song, right? Jungle
Yes,
Boogie, yeah.
so they like basically took Jungle Boogie and like redid it with like solos over it. So that's pretty cool. This is such like a great record. There's a ton of people have sampled off this record, and it's also got this great psychedelic.
I was gonna say, man, look at that album cover. Shout out to those album covers because I feel like nobody's really making an album cover like that anymore. You know what I mean? Like, nobody's really
some
doing
people,
that.
like King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard,
Oh,
are
yeah,
definitely
shout
doing
out-
record covers
shout
like
out
this.
to King Giz.
Also,
Liz Wiz.
it's got that great mid '70s, just
That's
like
the name of that's the name of my playlist.
Is it King Giz and the Liz Wiz?
um,
Check it out on Spotify. Make it public so good people can listen to it.
It's also
King
got
Giz
these like
and the
great like
Liz Wiz.
70s
cool.
like like the photo collages that everybody did.
Yeah.
Derek
Oh,
and the
yeah.
Dominoes has a good one that looks
Oh.
exactly the same on the inside, except they're all
That
white.
one's rough. Yeah, they're all just really, really going down a dark path.
But this was a great find for me. I rarely find those Kool and the Gang
D-Light
releases
Records.
from before like Emergency. Yeah, man, D-Light. Great record company. I believe it's off of the Buddha Records imprint. I believe they have something to do
okay.
with that. So yeah, really cool.
Ancestral Ceremony is one of the songs.
Ancestral.
Winter Sadness. Cosmic Energy.
Oh,
Ooh, what comes first, Ancestral Ceremony or Cosmic Energy?
they're one and the same.
Have you heard that Kool and the Gang song off of Wild and Free? That's like it's like, how do we make the world a better place? And he's like explains. He's like, how do we make the world a better place? Cool. And he's like, I will tell you. We make the world a better place through love and understanding. And it's just like
It's so good.
and that's like 17 horns come in.
that's exactly what it is. It's like and it's just like
Trombone.
it's like, oh, I understand the message of unity. Thank you,
Yeah.
Kool and the Gang.
That's awesome.
Last release I kind of picked up here. We
Oh,
have
look at that game.
Isaac
go.
Hayes live at the give me the pronunciation of that venue.
Sahara Tahoe.
Thank you, everybody. So this is Isaac Hayes. This is his classic, double live record here. Look at that great gig.
Oh, he does come on Light My Fire?
Yeah, man. Isaac Hayes doesn't mess around.
It's a slow, like, sex anthem.
Yeah, and again, you have the wonderful
Hey, baby, come on,
70s, photo collage on the inside. That
Oh,
one's a
and
little
Storm
Black
Monday.
Moses himself. Look at this. Look at this shirtless with the fucking 17 chains.
Oh my God! Yeah, that's what Moses. You don't know. You don't know the story. That's what Moses was wearing when he received the Ten Commandments on the top of Mount Sinai.
Also here, I hope
The burning
camera
bush.
camera can see.
Different.
We're gonna open the doors to the venue.
Oh, look at that. Oh. Yo, man, nobody's ever been cooler than Isaac
Come on,
Hayes.
man. Come on.
Isaac Hayes, who started as the session piano player for Stax Records, and then within like 2.5 years became like James Brown meets like Barry White.
Yeah,
Like,
it's so
amazing.
What an
Love it.
incredible
This
album
record
cover.
is
Wow.
pure like record 70s record gimmick. I love that cover. The opening of it. I mean,
He looks like Rick Ross.
he really
Dude, he does look like Rick Ross.
is
Rick
Isaac
Ross
Hayes
looks like
not
Isaac
the
Hayes.
original
true.
Rick Ross.
He is the boss, man. Jesus.
So I got that record, and that's a great that's a great release.
Black
Off the
Moses
Stax label.
himself. Look at that. That's amazing.
So yeah, those are
busting out on saxophone. wearing
yeah,
what
what
can
is
only
that?
be
What is
described as a chainmail dress.
that's a chainmail dashiki.
Chainmail
Yeah.
made out of gold chains, though. Yeah, so good.
Oh, it is so good.
If you look at the back, there's
be
like
there,
an
man, could you
orchestra of
imagine?
musicians
Oh
as
my
well.
gosh.
So
Oh yeah, like a full orchestra. Look at that.
it's what and he's conducting, right?
Conducting with a pearl encrusted baton.
So that's the latest releases from the bins,
I gotta
guys.
check that
That's,
out.
Nice.
that's what I've been. That's what I've
Very
been picking.
good.
Very eclectic.
Yeah.
We have
Good.
everything from Arcade Fire to Isaac Hayes. So
Very nice.
There you go.
that's what I'm spinning in the garage basement.
That was what was in the bin. Well, that about does it for us this week. Once again, like and subscribe and comment and all that stuff. Share the podcast. Awaken the primordial algorithm, the ancient creature of, if you will, the algorithm. Luke, do you have something to say before we go?
I just noticed our beautiful nun in the corner that we have in like every episode.
There she is. What is that? Is that what is she? Is that ceramic?
Yeah, it's like one of those. It's like a tchotchke.
A tchotchke?
Yeah.
That's her name.
Oh.
Tchotchke.
You never
Sister
heard that
It's
phrase?
Polish.
No. Yeah. Oh, I have heard that. I just never knew what it actually was.
Like my house is full of tchotchkes.
I just knickknacks.
Yes, that's
Cookie
another
Monster
name for it.
himself.
Cookie Monster tchotchke back there. Anyway, all right. Well, that's been about it, guys. We'll see you. We'll see you next week. Until next time, this has been Get in the Garage.
Let's pray.
Let us pray. Have a good week at school, everyone.
This has been a presentation from the Wasted Robot Network. For more information and links to other shows, please visit www.wastedrobotrecords.com/podcasts.